Howdy folks, we've got something again new in today. It's Monday, it's new tool day, yeah. Anyway, BestArc. BestArc makes plasma cutters, welders, combo welders that have, MIG, TIG, and stick and everything else in them, and they are really, they're tiny. Everybody's stuff is so small these days, it's getting kind of crazy. But this one here came in, and this right away was what blew my mind. You can probably read it up here. 200 amp welder, yeah. And technically it's a DC welder at 200 amps. It's like, and how small is it? Well, if this is the box, the welder is smaller. Now, years ago when I was a kid, a 200 amp DC welder would be the size of my roll around, Craftsman toolbox, and then now, these days, the technology, they're just getting smaller and smaller. This is crazy, 200 amps, and it's like the size of a lunchbox, basically, yeah. So we're gonna get this out and take a look at it. It's also a really good price. I believe when I checked this morning, I think it was around 170, something like that. Incredible amount of, small amount of money for a really good welder. But I'm gonna run some long stick today, so we're gonna see. I'm gonna run some stick welding on this thing. We're gonna do some beads out here on the plates and just see how much this thing can handle. But I have a funny feeling I'm going to be impressed, but we'll see. BestArc seems like they have really good quality welders, and I've been, impressed with every one of the machines that has come in. This one was really totally different because I think it's the biggest in the current for amps. It's the biggest one they have, 200 amps. Well, I got it out of the box, and it's like I said, I had a feeling it was going to be. I think my lunchbox used to be actually bigger than this thing. 200 amp welder. That's yeah, and it's dual, so it'll run 110 and or 220. Now, real quick on 110, your maximum will be 140 amps. Understandable. And on 220, you can get up over. Actually, at 220, you can get up over 200 amps. You get 200 and probably 201 or 202 amps, whatever, but this is just absolutely insanely small. I cannot get over the size of this stuff anymore. And they've got the 220 plug is standard on here, so then they give you the converter, which, again, there's your convert to 110. Excuse me. And then you've got a ground, which has a pretty decent size of cable on the ground here. So you probably got a little over 6 feet of cable, and then about 6 feet of cable on the, I guess we'll call it the stinger, yeah, with the clamp. And this one here is really strong. It's got a good, strong spring pressure to hold your, electrode in place and stuff when you're, welding. So really nothing wrong with that. They also include a shoulder strap, which, because the machines are so small these days, a lot of them coming with these shoulder straps, I guess, where you can just carry it like a, like a purse. I don't know. It's just crazy how tiny and light. There's very little weight to this thing. Oh, and of course everybody's going to jump on the same question probably, so we'll get that out of the way. I checked it out. The duty cycle rating is at 60%, which is, again, it's something to do with the electronics and the size of these things. In my day, in the old school, whatever, you would never, ever have like 60% duty cycle on a little machine like this. There's no way. But with the technology we have now, this is the sort of thing we're getting into. But this all comes in the package. Now, there's no TIG stuff here, which is fine with me. I wasn't going to do the TIG today anyways, but TIG, you have to order those accessories, or you'd have to have those accessories separately to hook in. But these are pretty standardized plugs they've got on here, and you've just got a positive and a negative output, and one knob to control it. You have a mode, so you can set the mode as to what type of welding situation you're going to be doing. But if you don't want a lot of money tied up in a welder, but you have heavy equipment to work with, such as agricultural especially, I'm thinking, but heavy machinery or heavy truck equipment and heavy trailers, that sort of thing, in the commercial world, a lot of times you need that, big heavy welder. And look at this. BestArc, yeah, so I don't know how they did it, but they did it, and we're gonna play with this thing. I got my welding helmet out. I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna run a long bead. Probably gonna cut the video short and come back when the bead is finished or something, because the long bead, you'll get bored watching me sit here and, for a while. but I do want to see how it will do. And also I'm going to be looking for certain things such as pulsing or, you know, sticking. This is said to have some programming in there that will help the stick so it doesn't tack and get stuck down to your metal or something. So when you're first starting and stuff, so should be good. Also, I want to hear the fan, see how long it runs, let it cool down, that sort of thing. And I'm going to run a couple of different beads. So the first bead I want to run is just going to be a flat bead. Now, first thing I do is I got to go find a piece of steel that we can put a bead on. I am running out of old iron laying around here, but I think I got some. And then we'll do a weld. This is going to be on 110 at this point. I don't even really need to put it on 220 today. There's no point because I don't need that kind of current. These rods here, like for example, that I'm going to be using today, you know, about 60 amps is about all you need. So you could easily run that on 110. So if you're doing light stuff, this is still going to get you, you know, give you what you need. And if you're stuck with only 110 available around or something, up to 140 amps, you can weld quite a bit of stuff up to 140 amps. Yeah. So as soon as I come back, we will have some metal and we'll get into it. So the first thing I'll do is power up. There we go. And see how she does. And here she comes. Yo! Oh yeah. 140. No, we don't need that. That's for sure. Let's crank this down. I'm gonna crank it down to about, well, let's do 60. That's even that. Now at mode, I'm on stick. So I'm just gonna check the mode. There's lift, TIG, and then stick. Okay, so we're on stick. Now A is showing the current. That's probably showing, I'm gonna assume that's showing the voltage, I believe. But here we go, back to A. Okay, and hot start. And then I'm not sure what this top button does, but let's just press it and see what happens. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's showing it's 1/8 sync. So we're good, and we're 200 amps from BestArc. Now I'm going to put the helmet on, and I'm going to go across the. We'll go across the metal. So well, I've started. Had some problems with this. This is automotive metal down here, and it has like a coating, so I gave up on it. And just went to a raw piece of steel in the yard that has nothing on it, and I started cutting. Now this is 60 amps, and I'm really not too fussy on it. It's like this welding rod should run around 60, 70 amp, but it really wasn't doing a very good job, and it stopped immediately. And so I went to 70. 70 wasn't very good either. So now I'm at 80 amps and I'm running across here. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to run a 90, and then I think we're going to call it off. At that point, we'll, you know, discuss the machine at that point. But let's try 90. I've got her set up for 90. And let's see how we do. And like I said, I'll cut in and cut out with the video because it gets kind of boring watching somebody just run a bead. Yeah, there you go. Wow. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but just knock the slag off of that. And there's a 90 amp bead run across the steel, so you can see that about 90 is what we would need, like I said. So let's wrap this up a little bit. Well, I'd say that was a pretty fair test. Now, that 90 weld, what I do is I plugged it into the 220. Trying out the 110 mode, I wasn't real fussy on it. It seemed like it was kind of weak for welding, which is expected on a 110 line anyways, but it was able to do the job if you really wanted to do it. But on the 220, it seemed like it had a much stronger, you know, steadier kind of a weld, but that's, you know, yeah, a little gray area there. The 90 was not really expected because here, I'll show you what I was using. This is 7014 rod. And this is only 332, so it's a small rod. It's not like a heavy 1/8 or something. There's the rod right there, as a matter of fact. And I'm sort of surprised. I thought I could get away with a colder, you know, weld than that, but when I got it up to 90, the bead was nice and straight and nice and even, and you know, very, very reliable. It was laying down real good. It's like, okay, very good. Still can't get over the size of this thing. It's so small. And just imagine up to 200 amps. So if you had to do something heavy, you'd be there. If you have a shop or something where you have to do a little bit of, you know, heavy welding once in a while, like I said, agriculture, something like that, or even a truck shop, something like that, little guy like this could probably get you by. Or if you just want a stick welder around the shop for whenever you need a little job on some angle iron or whatever like that, again, you know, great little machine. Link will be provided in the description below, of course, and you know, we'll see if we can find. I'm going to say it like I always say, check back sometimes a week or two. Sometimes we have a discount coupon that rolls in later for a great buy on this or something. But BestArc, I think they gave us just a link or something to put on this. So they didn't pay for this video today. Okay, just again mention that too. But I've got to get back to my 3D printing is what I really like. But you know, welding is something else. I really enjoy welding when I get a chance, but I don't do a lot of it. Maybe that's a good thing. I did a lot when I was young. I was real surprised with the results today, because again, I am so used to you know, a great big hulking machine, DC, to make a weld like that. And it was the first thing I noticed, and this is what I noticed about this machine, it didn't pulse or get weak. As the bead went along, it was steady, very steady. So that's really impressive. Now, if you were doing a great big long weld or something and the machine got hot, I would expect, you know, things to drop off a little bit, and it would be like no surprise there. But for what I did with the beads, there was no pulsing or any activity like that going on. This top button, for some reason, you select the size of the diameter of the rod you're using, and that sort of presets the machine a little bit. And I guess that's for people that don't know how much current to use or something. But the problem with the settings on top is it's metric. Yeah, and I can honestly tell you, 332 7014 rod, I have no idea what metric size, what is the diameter on that? I don't know. So I used the small, I think it was 1.6 or something, or 2.0, something like that for setting, because I really didn't know where to set the diameter. So it's metric. Don't know, you know, somewhere in that range. And the other thing I noticed was it's very quiet. The fan runs until the system cools down. So if you get one of these, when you finish welding, don't reach back and shut the machine off. Leave it running until the fan shuts off. Once the fan shuts off, then kill the power. That's fine, you know. That's something we've known about welders, even the old welders, forever. You know, you never run over and kill the power immediately when you've been doing some welding, because the machine needs to, you know, cool down. So it just, old habits. Hey, we're gonna call this a done deal today. It's Monday. It's kind of cold. It was like 80 yesterday morning. Right now it's 30 something. It was like Texas, you know. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell, and we've got stuff to give away, and I got to get back to all that. But wanted to get this knocked out. I had promised BestArc was going to try to get it on there before Christmas or something, and the weather and scheduling just did not happen. So sorry about that, BestArc. We got her on today, so we tested it. Very impressed, yes, and it's an interesting, you know, up to 200 amps. Wow. Okay, I'm out of here. Over and out.